Hello YouTube and welcome to a very brand new, unique, I swear it's unique, uh, series that I'm going to call Try It, Buy It, or Cry About It. So in this series I will be doing an honest to God, just flatline to you guys review of a game that I've played. And the first one I'm going to do is Wolfenstein, which I've been playing just by myself without recording it. And, you know, I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised. I heard good things about it, but I'd never played a Wolfenstein game before. I know, I'm crazy. I've seen them. I know about Mecha Hitler or whatever, and how it's like kill Nazis, rawr, and you know, like big fucking guns and stuff like that. I've never played a Wolfenstein game, so this, you know, but what I've seen of them, I wasn't, you know, I was like, I'm not a huge fan of like games that are like, you know, just blast them up basically. And I was pleasantly surprised by this game, I'm not gonna lie. The single player was fantastic, I thought. Which brings me into my next thing I want to talk about, which is multiplayer. And a lot of people, you know, when they go and buy a game like a Call of Duty or a Battlefield, they're like, you know, multiplayer or nothing, I gotta kill and get my 1.79265 KD and my 18.5 win ratio and, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, I'm not one for that. I like multiplayer games, but I don't think every game should have multiplayer. You know, this is a case, you know, it's fantastic single player, it doesn't need multiplayer. It really doesn't. I mean, just look at BioShock 2. Enough said. Alright, moving on. So, another thing I want to talk about with this game is achievements. So, you know, I like achievements. I'm a big achievement guy. I like to, you know, hunt for them. I don't, you know, try 100% every game. I would fucking rip my dick off and gouge out my eyes for certain games like Dead Rising 2. But yeah, the achievements in this game are ridiculously easy, and you could get them in 2 playthroughs, because there's 8 progress achievements where you just, you know, beat a certain enemy or you get far enough in the story. There's 3 achievements for beating the game. There's 1 for beating it on the second hardest difficulty, which is Evil Incarnate, and then the hardest, which is Uber. And then there's 7 for the collectibles. There's gold ones, letters, and then the 4 Enigma codes. And the other 32 are for perks, which bring me to the next part, which might be my favorite part about this game, is the perk system, which is you get rewarded for how you play. And there's 4 categories. There's tactical, stealth, assault, and explosive, I think that's what it's called. And, you know, they're all great. You know, you just do something simple like a task like kill 5 enemies with a throwing knife stealth attack, or 80 kills from behind cover with an assault rifle, and you get a bonus for that. So, you know, you can increase your magazine size on a certain gun, or you can increase your movement while crouched, or your explosive damage, or throwing range, or something like that. And that's a really cool idea, and there's achievements tied to each perk, respectively. And I really liked it, and they're not like ridiculously hard, like 360 no scope an enemy across the map or something weird like that. There's nothing crazy. It's good though. It's really good. And each of those playstyles, is good to, you know, just test your feet. You know, if you're not really a stealth guy, you don't have to worry about going for the stealth perks, because they're not going to help you out. You can just do a second playthrough to just, you know, crank those out. And there's definitely places in the campaign where you can just boost the different perks. Like there's 1 for 5 kills in 10 seconds with a detached machine gun, which there's definitely a part early on in the game that I think you can really boost that up. I might make a video to show you guys. Alright, but enough with the perks. That's, you know, it's fun. I wanted to also talk about the mechanics of the game, because that really caught my attention when I was first playing. There's nothing better than on that first level with the trenches, when I opened up the weapons wheel and I saw, holy shit, you can dual wield fucking assault rifles. I was like, this is the best game ever created, because I was like, this is amazing, dual wielding fucking assault rifles. And you can dual wield shotguns and marksman rifles and pistols and fucking, you can even dual wield knives. It's like, this game's just got it all. Too bad you can't dual wield grenades. Don't know why that wasn't a feature, but I'm just kidding, that would have been ridiculous. But that was a fantastic feature. I loved just going in there, just spraying and praying. Wasn't very practical. I'll give you guys a warning here. Wasn't very practical on Evil Incarnate. I gotta say, dual wielding, I found out early on, I was like, this is awesome. Then I realized this might not be the best idea because enemies are really strong in the higher difficulty. So if you're just doing an easy playthrough or a normal playthrough, it's like, yeah, definitely dual wield because that shit is fun. Another part, so like if you didn't want to dual wield, there's also cover leaning, which is really great. I thought that was well done. You could lean sideways, you can lean up, and you can even lean down to shoot under doors and stuff, which I thought was pretty a neat idea. There's also, they had secondary fire, so you can have like a rocket launcher, or like a cutting mode for your LKW, your laser craft to work. And then my favorite by far was for the shotgun with the ricochet. That was crazy cool. You could just sit around a corner, and ricochet would fly everywhere, and kill even like you kill those strong shotgun guys that would take like 2 rockets. You could just and in like 5 shots they'd just be like dead. It was fantastic. And then going back to the laser craft work, I thought that was a really neat weapon. You could like cut things open, then if you're like fuck cutting things, you could like, and then later on you get like the scope, which you can like lock onto different parts of the body. I found this out at the very end of the game. When you fire, it'll hit different parts of the body, and it's like a one-hit kill on almost any enemy. Great weapon, you know, and they had that cool like reflector ability where it could like bounce off surfaces for a bit. That was also really cool. I like that stuff. So moving on, I want to talk about the collectibles. I'm not a fan, per se, of games with lots of collectibles. Like, this game's got like 6 different collectible categories. I will say, however, there are only achievements tied to 3 of those 6, so that's good. You don't have to go for all the health upgrades and recordings and stuff like that. But still, having said that, there's still lots of Enigma codes, lots of gold pieces, and there's only a few letters, so the letters are pretty easy. But I will say, the Enigma codes seem really cool. You can't, I didn't get a chance to do this, but you can like unlock, I guess, separate game modes. I don't know what kind of game modes come with that, but that's a pretty neat idea. So, you know, maybe you can go like retro Wolfenstein, which is cool that in the game you can sleep on that bed, go to Nightmare, do Castle on Wolfenstein or whatever. That's really cool. Castle on Wolfenstein. But that's neat. Okay, that was out of nowhere. Okay, so I want to talk about difficulty. Now, I like a hard game. Don't get me wrong. I've beaten pretty much every Call of Duty game on Veteran. I know that's not like, oh, that's not, Cody, you suck if you think that's the hardest game you ever played. It's definitely not the hardest game I played, but I do like gouging my eyes out and ripping off my toenails individually, repeatedly going at hard games. Like, I love the shit out of the Dark Souls series. Fantastic games. So, you know, difficulty is not a, you know, breaking point for me. But I did think that this game had really infatuated, that's not the word I'm thinking of, but it had like increased difficulty spikes. Like you'd be going through and there's just, you know, a few enemies in different rooms. You're like, oh, this is fun, this is kind of hard, you know, keep your health up. And then randomly, you'd go into this section of a level where there's like 30 enemies constantly coming in from different sides of you. Then when you're done, another set come in and you're like, okay, 2 sets, that's probably it. And then finally there's a third wave. It's like, and then the checkpoint would usually start you at the end of the first wave or the beginning of the first wave. And it's like, what? This is kind of ridiculous. I'm not going to fault the game for that, you know. Obviously, Wolfenstein, probably much harder back in the day than it is now, so I'm not going to fault it for that. But I just thought the spikes were kind of not that well made. Going on, the storyline and characters. I really liked the storyline. I thought following BJ Blazkowicz was interesting. I don't know. The start of the game seems like there was a game before this that led into this. Like this is a sequel. I don't know. I didn't play the game before this. Like I said, I never played Wolfenstein games, so I don't know if that. Because I know Caroline, and I won't do spoilers. So in case I drop one, you might want to skip ahead a minute or two. I'll try my best. This is my first time trying to, you know, do a review. But I like the Anya Blazkowicz connection. I really like that. On my playthrough, I only played through once, and I chose to say Fergus. And you know, I'm not gonna spoil anything really, because that happens in the first level. It's not really a spoiler, I don't think. And I gotta say, he was a bigger dick than I thought he would be. I thought he'd be cool, like, oh, they saved my life, and I thought I chose the experienced one. It turned out that maybe I should have saved the younger one, but you know, that's fine. And then also, I think my favorite character might be Max Haas, the guy with the like half the head. He's a pretty interesting guy, you know, just saying, Max Haas. He reminds me of Hodor from Game of Thrones. But going back to Anya and Blasco, that's probably my favorite part of the game, is watching the two. I mean, come on, guys. Who doesn't want to see a sex scene in video games? Am I right? But anyways, that's not the reason I like it. I just like, you know, they kind of completed each other, you know, it was pretty interesting. And also, I gotta say, not really a spoiler, but later on in the games, you find Anya's cousin's diaries, which are very intriguing, that character. I like that touch, with how different ways she kills the Nazis and stuff. That was a nice touch. But anyways, enough of blabbing on about just a side minor character. I want to give you my overall impressions, and then I'm going to tell you whether to try it, buy it, or cry about it. Okay, so overall, I thought the game was well made. I thought the gameplay was smooth. I liked the different play styles. You could interchange. You could go from stealth to tactical to assault back to stealth in this level. It just fluid motions. The story I liked. Like I said before, I thought it was well made. The level design and different environments you go to. I mean, you go to the freaking moon, you go to buildings. I mean, you can go outside, you go underwater for a level. This is, you know, this scale is just all over the place with the environments. The level design's nice. I like the tight corners mixed in with hallways, mixed in with big rooms. I thought it made a very atmospheric game, especially how he talked to himself. Which, why did he whisper? Anyways, I don't understand why he whispers to himself and not just talks, but that's, you know, whatever. I thought the game length was good. I didn't think it stretched on too long. I don't feel like I paid money to get too short of a game. I thought the balance in there, like how long each level was, and how many levels there were, and the different like lengths of levels. Like some levels would be like 30 minutes, some would be a little bit shorter, like 10. You know, I thought they just balanced it really well and made a good structure. So this is just an arbitrary number. I don't expect you guys to agree with my scale out of 10. No one agrees with scales out of 10, so I'm not going to be offended. But what I like to think of is, for my scale out of 10, is 5 is mediocre. 5 is just like god-awful. 5 is mediocre. 0 is god-awful. 10 is good. Well, I should say 1 is god-awful. There's no 0. 10 is like pristine, like, if you don't have this game, you should kill yourself because you're so stupid. No game's going to be that well made. No matter how much I love a game or how fanboy I am for that series, no game will be 10. Maybe 9.9. You know, maybe you'll see one. But okay, let's get this out of the way. For this game, I'm going to give it an 8.25. I felt like it was well made. It was one of the better first-person shooters I've ever played for the single player. I thought, you know, the game was just... it went beyond my expectations. I heard it was good, but I figured just gonna be some just stupid shooter where you just blast things open, and you know, you just no story. But the story was actually one of my favorite parts of the game. So the most important part of the series is where I tell you to try it, buy it, or cry about it. So this game, I'm gonna recommend you guys buy it. I really think it's worth the buy. I really think it's worth the $40. Yeah, I think it's $40 now. I would have bought it for $60, but I bought it for $40. I thought it was worth it. I have no major complaints, just, you know, about the difficulty and the collectibles, which no one gives a shit if you care about collectibles, honestly. There were a few annoying parts other than those two, but nothing major, like nothing that I'd say don't get this game. So yeah, I think you should buy it. Okay, well, I've rambled enough and taken you guys time enough. I think it's been going for about 15 minutes, this recording. So I'll see if I can just throw in some clips of Wolfenstein while I talk, about 15 minutes or so. And thank you guys for watching. I'll probably do more of these. just so you guys know how I feel about a game after I beat it. I'll probably do one for Dead Rising, and if I get around to finishing Guacamelee, I'll do one for that, and I might do some for other games. So I'll see you guys for my next video. Bye.